No, this is not my attempt at recreating a drawing of a Pac-Man figure, but it is the most important graph that you need to understand in order to accelerate your professional and your personal success. I'm JJ Peller, author of the book, Attract Your Potential, and in this video I'm going to help you to understand specifically what this graph is referring to and how you can take it into your personal relationships and your career in order to become the best version of yourself and create extraordinary results in all areas of your life. Why? Because this graph is referencing your communication. Let me get into the details of what I mean. So this graph is a visual representation of a study that was done in the 1960s by Dr. Morabian in UCLA. And what he and his teammates in this research were looking to find out was what different components of communication, what were their weightings in terms of their importance in communicating a feeling or emotion from one human to the next. And so the three things they looked at were, number one, words. What were the actual spoken words that people used? Number two, what was the physiology, the body movements, the facial expressions that were used in trying to convey a message? And then thirdly, vocal quality. What was the impact of voice tonality and range and pitch and volume and all of these components of vocal qualities? So with these three components in mind, and maybe you've heard this study, but maybe you haven't, and now I'm really glad that we're sharing it with you, or I'm sharing it with you, because it can change everything for you in your communication, which will change everything for you in your career and relationships. Now, what they were looking at was, okay, what were the importance of each of these components? And here's the interesting thing that they found. Well, before we get there, type into the comments, which of these three do you think were most important? Maybe you could type out the order: the vocal quality, the physiology of the body movements, or the words that were spoken. And if you want to take it a step further, write in the percentage weightings that you think each had, meaning was voice 5% or was physiology 27%? What were the weightings of each of these? I'd love to know before we dive into the big reveal. But here's your chance. Ready? Type it in, because here we go. Here's the big reveal. What they found was, as you can know, some of these components are nonverbal and one is verbal. So the words were the verbal components. The nonverbal was the physiology and the vocal qualities. So what they found was 93% of the impact came from the nonverbal portion of the communication. 93% came from vocal qualities and tonalities and physiology and body movements and facial expressions. And only 7% of the impact was from the actual words that were chosen. Now, if you've heard this study before, you may have also heard some of the criticism, which is, well, it doesn't exactly study communication. It specifically studied the communication of emotions and feelings. Well, my response has always been, since I heard this years ago, what else is communication besides communicating feelings and emotions from one person to the next? Yes, we like to think we're very logical, intellectual beings, and we certainly are, but we also are heavily influenced by our emotions and feelings in our decision-making and behavioral choices. And so, what this means for you is that you have to start to recognize the importance of your nonverbal communication in every interaction that you have in your professional and personal life. So let me break down that 93% a little bit further for you, because there were, as you recall, two components to that. There's the body language physiology, and then there's the voice quality and tonalities. And so the voice made up 38% of the weighting, and the physiology made up 55% of the weighting. And so when you look at both of those, you can realize that each of those separately is a multiple more importance than the actual words. And combined, when you look at the 93% nonverbal portion, that's over 13 times more potent than the words themselves. And how often do you go into a presentation or an interaction with another person on your team or someone you're leading or a family member or friend or spouse or child, and you're thinking, what are the words that I need to say? What are the specific words that I need to bring up to phrase this exactly right? Now, I'm a huge believer that words do matter. Words can get someone to fall in love with you, and words can get someone to want to punch you right in the face. But they're not as important when it comes to communicating feelings and emotions as the nonverbal components. And so the question you've got to ask yourself is, how much time, effort, and energy are you investing to practice, work on, refine, and improve your nonverbal communication? How much time are you thinking about as you're going into a presentation or a speech or a team meeting or going to talk with your spouse or child or friend or partner? How much time are you investing to say, how do I want to show up? What's the energy that I want to bring? How am I going to use my body, my face? What am I not going to do with my face or my body? What am I going to do with my voice? How loud am I going to be? How soft am I going to be? Where am I going to take my vocal qualities throughout this conversation? And there's actually a Yale study that was done more recently than the Dr. Moravian study from the 1960s that would suggest that vocal quality is actually even more important than any of the other components. But regardless of the percentages and the multiples of impact of nonverbal over words, what the point here that I want to get across to you is, your nonverbal communication is vital for your success. Because if the people you're communicating with, whether you're leading them or they're leading you, they're your boss or your manager, the owner of your firm, or they're part of your team, or they're your clients, or they're your spouse or children, whoever it is that you're interacting with, they're much more impacted and moved and persuaded by your voice, by your body language, than by your words. So you must start thinking about and intentionally considering those components when going in to deliver a presentation or speech or interacting with someone that you really care about. And if you can start to do that more consistently and you start to develop those skills, your life can absolutely change. Because if you develop the soft skills necessary to succeed, you will stand out above everyone else in your field, and you will stand out to your people that you care about in your community, to your family, to your friends, because you'll be someone that exemplifies some of the most important skills that anyone can have and develop. Soft skills. And if you believe soft skills are important, go and watch this video that I made on soft skills, because it will help you to understand what they are and to be reminded of the importance to keep practicing and developing them. So my friend, just remember that nonverbal communication is 93% of the impact you make in any given conversation. And if that's the case, you gotta put in the work to master your nonverbal communication. And if you truly care about becoming the best version of yourself and you want to stay encouraged and inspired and be empowered and equipped to go to your next level, go and watch this video next, because it will continue to help you and support you along your journey to create the greatest results possible in your life and career. And no matter what challenges you're going through, because we all go through them, my friend, just keep going.